Hi everyone, let's talk makeup. And I'm here today with my June favorites and fails because I do actually have quite a bit of fails this week, this month. But I did want to share them with you all. And P.S. My dog's running around. I don't think he's going to be visible on camera, but he might jump on my lap at some point. I don't know. We'll deal with that. So let's get started. And I'll start with foundation. My favorite foundation this month has been the Lancôme Teint Idole Ultra 24-Hour Makeup, and this used to be my holy grail foundation, and now I'm more like iffy on it. I have really oily skin, and in the summer I feel like this um, absolutely has to be set with powder. But pretty much any foundation I use absolutely has to be set with powder in the summer. So I'm not begrudging it that because I always set my foundation with powder. It's just a warning to anybody with oily skin that this is a fabulous full coverage foundation, but it does need to be set with powder. And for me, absolutely any powder will do with this foundation. There just needs to be powder there. And I rediscovered it because I put it in my project pan. It's hard to tell in these bottles, but it's about right here. And I'm pretty sure it was like halfway through when I started it. So I think I'll be finishing this up in the next couple of weeks. And I really love it. I won't be repurchasing it right away because I have a ton of foundations to get through. But it is one that I recommend for a lot of different people. And so next up, I'm going to do, well, I should just do powder foundations actually. The foundation that I absolutely fell in love with in June was the Tarte, what is it? The Amazonian Clay Full Coverage Airbrush Foundation. And I purchased it with this brush that Tarte recommends using with it. And it's a powder foundation, a loose powder foundation that comes with a little mesh. You can see it there. And so this is just the perfect size to put into there and to use as foundation. Now, full disclosure, I never use a powder foundation on its own. I always do liquid and powder foundation. That's just my preference. It's what works for me. But I think this one would actually be a great one to just use on its own. On days when I didn't have time to do a complete full look, I know that I can just use this one and still get a pretty decent coverage look. And on its own, I don't know if I would, yeah, it's probably full coverage, medium to full coverage, I would say. Mine's in the color medium tan sand. And it's a perfect color for me, and it's just a really great foundation. Now, that one was a great one, and one that I'd had for a while and I just recently opened up, fell in love with. But one that I've been using all of last summer, and this one I tend to pull out in the summer because it's a little bit too dark for me if I don't have a little bit of sun. But it's the Lorac Pro Balance-N-Brighten foundation, and mine's in the color tan. Now, medium's a little too light for me, and tan is too dark for me during the winter. So a few weeks ago in the month of June, I spent a few days at the beach, got out a lot of sun, and it turns out that the rest of my powder foundations were a bit too light for me. And so I was like, great, I've got just the thing. I pulled out my Balance-N-Brighten, and this is a really great powder foundation. I think it works on all skin tones. And I have really oily skin, and I think it even works on mine. It's not a matte foundation. It is a kind of luminous foundation. I think it gives your skin, like, it doesn't leave your skin feeling matte or dry. It's a really nice, like, sheen on your skin. I really love it. It is not what I'm wearing right now. I'm trying the Maybelline Better Skin powder foundation. So far I'm liking it, but this one I've been wearing for the last couple of weeks, and I really, really love it. So next up I'll do eyeshadow, and a palette I got this month was the Lorac Pro 3 palette, and I'm sure you've seen it everywhere, but it is a beautiful assortment of colors. The top row is all matte, the bottom row is all shimmer, and I was a little iffy on it at first actually, because the color I gravitated to right away was Medallion. And this color is the only dud in the entire palette. You can't see it there, or maybe you can if I, it is like just shimmer powdery. It doesn't stay on your lid. It looks like it should be like this beautiful gold, and it's just not. The other shades here though are really gorgeous for a nice neutral look. Now, if you're tired of neutral palettes, then maybe this one's not the one for you, but I personally really loved it this month. And the other eyeshadows that I've been loving this month were Avon eyeshadows. I have never really tried anything from Avon, at least not that I can remember. I know my mother used to make Avon orders a long time ago, but I have zero recollection of that. So I placed an Avon order, and I tried, I actually picked one from like every category of makeup. So I have a foundation, I have some eyeshadows, I have a couple of other things that I'll show you. One of the standout things from the order I placed was this eyeshadow quad. And this one is in the color, let's see, Warm Sunrise. And it's just a really gorgeous collection of colors. And I found that they are nicely pigmented. They showed up on my eyes. They blended beautifully, and they weren't too powdery. So it was just such a gem, I found. They're very inexpensive and just really good quality shadows. So this is a total win for me this month. The other thing from Avon, sticking with Avon for a second, was this cream blush stick. It's in the color Mandarin Glow, and this one is it's actually a pretty neutral color. You can see on there, probably leaning a little corally, but not a whole lot. It's overall very neutral, and it just works so great. I just get a stippling brush, take it right from the stick with a stippling brush, and put it on my cheeks, and it stays on all day and looks beautiful on my skin tone. So I would, not a whole lot of people are into cream blushes, but if you're into them or would like to try them out, I think this is a good one. The other cream blush that I've really been into, and it's actually a blush combination that I've been into, but it involves another cream blush, is this Butter London Cheeky Cream Blush in the color Honey Pie. This one I've had for a couple of years, and it's a coral. Nothing that intriguing about it, but I tend to not reach for a lot of my cream blushes, and so I have put this in my project pan because I really want to just use it up, get it out of my collection. But in the process of using it back up, I kind of fell in love with this combination. So this just gives you a nice coral wash to the cheeks. Nothing incredible necessarily, but very pretty. And then what really takes it over the top for me is this blush. And this is what I have on my cheeks right now, along with a highlight. I do have a highlight on, but I have the cream blush, and then I have this Too Faced blush, and this is a super old blush. It's actually the first non-drugstore blush I ever bought. Yes, and it was already like hard to find. Like I had to order it on Amazon in order to find it, because I kept seeing it in tutorials and stuff like that. But this is the Too Faced Full Bloom Ultra Flush Powder Blush in the shade Who's Your Poppy. And I guess this is supposed to be like a dupe for NARS Orgasm. I don't know about that. I don't have NARS Orgasm, but you can see on there it's got like a coral base and a gold shift to it, and with pink. It's really gorgeous. With this, you don't even need to be wearing highlight on. It gives your cheeks a super beautiful sheen, and on top of that, like, there are lots of blushes that give you nice sheens. The problem with a lot of those blushes though is if you have any texture on your cheeks, it will accentuate it. It will highlight your pores and make them super visible. This one does not. It just doesn't. And you can see I have a lot of texture on my skin, a lot of hyperpigmentation and acne scars. I went through a terrible bout with acne a few years ago, and thanks to Accutane and a skincare regime, it's all good now, but it's left me with a lot of scars. And this blush is one of the few shimmery, highlighty type things that I can actually use on my cheeks without making me look like a total I don't know what, just making without making me look awful. So let's see, we are getting to the end here. One of the lip products that I discovered this month was this Maybelline Color Jolt. This one's in the color, or Stripped Down, and it's just a nude. It's a nude color, but the reason I like it because it's a great nude on me. For me, it's been really difficult to find nudes that work on my skin tone, and that's really, a lot of it is my fault. Sometimes when I first got into makeup, I would watch YouTube videos and I would see people using nudes, or they would call nudes, and I would try to automatically, go pick up those colors and be like, yeah, I want to wear nudes too. And it turns out your skin tone really matters when you pick out nudes. And a lot of the YouTubers I watch and started watching had lighter skin, and so the nudes that they loved just didn't work on me. Having said that, I think this is a nude a lot of people are gonna like, and I really like it. It goes on creamy, nice, stays on quite a while, really nice. Okay, other lip product. A surprise love for me this month was this Lancôme, what are they called? Juicy Shakers, that's what they're called. And this was in Berry in Love. And I went in and I picked out a color that looked a little bit darker because I have pigmented lips, and so I wanted something that would actually show up on me. And I knew from having seen reviews that these were already going to be super light products. So I've been loving it, but as you can see, it's a really sheer wash of color. It's an oil, and it's a oil that will disappear from your lips really quickly. Having said that, what I really loved about this is when I wear a lipstick, put on a lipstick at the beginning of the day, it usually at some point will start to dissolve. I put this back on and my lips are rehydrated, and it adds color to my lips, and it's just something really nice to carry around in the summer and the heat, where I know it's not going to dissolve on me sometimes or melt, because a lot of the regular lipsticks in the kind of heat of the summer will melt, and so it's kind of pricey. It's not for everyone, but I've really been liking it, so I wanted to share that. Last lip product is this Rimmel London Kate. It's from the Kate collection, and this is the nudes that just came out. This was in the color 47, and I saw these swatched out on Instagram, and I knew that this one, the minute I saw it, I knew this would be a great nude on me. Now, let me swatch that other nude, the color Jolt, so you can get an idea for anybody out there who's looking for nudes that will work on their skin tone. These are the kind of nudes that work on me and on my tan skin. So the top one is the color Jolt, and the bottom one is the Kate. This one will give you risk a little bit of the washed out look, but it won't wash you out. Unless if you're darker than me, it might, but it doesn't wash me out. This one, on the other hand, so the second one, is just the perfect nude. No risk of washout, nothing. It is just a perfect nude. It goes on super creamy, opaque. I have pigmented lips, so if a lip product is not opaque, like I can tell. This one's opaque, and I highly recommend it if you're on the market for a nude. We're getting to the end. We're almost there. So a couple of last products here. I know this is not a new product on the market, but it's one that I discovered this month, and it's the CoverGirl Clump Crusher, and I have mine in the water resistant formula. And I really like this for my lower lashes because pretty much any mascara I put down there will transfer on me. It's a problem I have, and this one does not. It does not transfer. The other way I use it is on my top lashes. I'll sometimes go in with a different mascara, maybe one that has transferred for me in the past, and so I do one coat of that and then one coat of this. And this doesn't really do a whole lot extra for my lashes, but it'll guarantee that the other mascara won't transfer on me. So I've been loving using that. The other thing I've really been liking, I don't know if anybody I've been thinking about doing a review on this brand. It's called Jeune Paris, and this is their eyebrow pencil in black. I found it at Rite Aid, and I tried to find them on social media and didn't find them, so it might just be that the company doesn't have a social media presence. So I'm going to do some research and see if I can find them online. This one is hopefully you'll be able to tell on here, it's a very different kind of eyebrow pencil. Like, it's not one of those like pointed thin ones, and it's in black, which I typically don't use. My eyebrow hairs are black. My actual hair is dark brown, so I typically go for dark brown eyebrow colors. But this one actually worked. I thought the black would be too harsh, but it's not. And so I just had to share because I thought I felt like it was a good find. And lastly, the last favorite of the month was from Avon too. This is from the Mark line, and this is in Hookup Longwear eyeshadow. It's a cream eyeshadow, right? And this one's in the color Tender Love. Aw. And here is the swatch of it. It's just a kind of taupey color, and it is a gorgeous, gorgeous, long-wearing, applies evenly, opaque, beautiful cream eyeshadow. I like to use these with powder on top, and it works really great with powder shadows. I have just been loving it. I've been loving it a lot, which led to some disappointments actually, because I loved it so much. It set such a high bar. I saw that Maybelline came out with these Color Tattoo eye chromes, which is a cream eyeshadow of their Color Tattoo formula, right, or line. And this, I'll swatch this one right below it. It's very similar color, but this one's a little bit more taupey. Over here, more cool toned as well. This one was a fail for me. It's a gorgeous color, but it doesn't apply evenly. And then you try to, like, I put it on my lid, and then I tried to kind of blend it, and it looks like a hot mess. It's uneven. It's a no-go for me. I don't recommend anybody get that. The other disappointments for me, one was a little sample I got, and I bought the Juicy Shaker. Lancôme was doing like a free gift with purchase, and I got these blush Subtil in the color Rose Fresque. Yeah, Rose Fresque. And it's just this pretty neutrally pink, a little bit mauvey. It doesn't stay on my cheeks. My cheeks like to eat blush, and they love eating this one. And this one fades, or my cheeks eat it pretty quickly within like 2 hours. I don't see anything on my cheeks, so fail for that. Won't buying any Lancôme blushes, I guess. The other blush fail was actually, there was a today's special value on QVC for $10. I placed an order for it that night, the night that it was a today's special value, and a couple of the things in the kit just really didn't work for me. And one of those things was this blush. It's the HydraGel Cream Calm in the color Kiss on the Chic. And it looked like such a gorgeous, like neutral pinky mauve color. It smells delicious. Oh, it smells like a delicious cupcake. And so I really wanted it to work on me, but it just didn't work for me. And I tried using powder blushes on top of it. Right, I even combined these two, thinking, I'll get a little bit longer wear out if I put them together. No, it doesn't work. Don't try it. Don't bother. If your cheeks eat blush, it'll probably eat this. And the last fail is also from the $10 today's special value kit, and it's their HydraGel foundation. Mine's in the color Tan, and this one, it's not a total fail. Like, I don't hate it. I'm not going to return the kit, but it's a foundation that's medium coverage for me and doesn't last very long. That's really my gripe with it. And maybe I'm not being fair to it, but I've tried it with powder foundation, and I tried it with different primers, and it doesn't last very long on me. It'll last like 4 hours, and by the time, and you know, sometimes I have long days, by the time I go to take it off at the end of the day, all I'm taking off of my face is the blush and contour or bronzer if I used any. I'm not taking off any foundation, which is extremely disappointing, and that's really the big test for me, is at the end of the day, how much is still on my face. When I use this one, there's not much. Now, I do like the finish. I like the coverage of it. I like the look of it. But this is just not going to be a foundation that I'm going to reach for on long days. Period. It's just for, you know, short days when I don't need my foundation to do much. So just an FYI out there. And, you know, some of these products I might be coming out with for review soon. And let me know if you like any of those down below. Let me know if you've tried any of these products and if you've had a different experience with them than I have, because that's always good to know, especially if you have a different kind of skin type. But that's it for me. Those are my June favorites and fails. Let me know what you've been loving and maybe not loving so much this month, and I'll see you in the next one.